Hey everybody, welcome back to Tengu Beer. Just want to take you along with our process on how we package our beer. Today I'll be going over how we keg. All right, let's get you inside, check out the keg cleaner. All right, so this behind me is our semi-automatic keg washer. Its purpose is to take all of our used kegs to clean and sanitize it for future use to put beer into. Now, the cycles that this goes through are quite simple. First, it has this pneumatic ram that goes down to ensure that everything can go into it. It then does a water rinse cycle to remove any sort of remaining beer or yeast that may be at the bottom of the keg, after which the caustic cycle is ran. And that caustic cycle, what it does is it eats up any sort of organic material or loosens up any organic material inside of the keg. After which the hot water goes through and rinses away any remaining chemical or organic material that may still be inside of the keg. Followed by the sanitization cycle, we pump in hot steam, and this steam goes inside of the keg and it kills any sort of living organism or bacteria that may be inside of the keg, at which point we then pump carbon dioxide into it. Since carbon dioxide is an inert gas, it prevents any sort of growth from occurring inside of the keg for longer term storage, at which point we can clean our kegs ahead of time and keg at a later date. So I'll push start here in a second. It'll go through a quick cleaning cycle. We'll speed that up so you don't have to see, because there's not much to see, to be honest. At which point I'll show you how we prepare our kegs for long-term storage. All right, now once the kegs are done, you gotta be careful, they are still hot. So grab it from the bottom, flip it over. And so this keg collar right here, this is where everything's been touching it, so the outside isn't necessarily sterilized. So we'd like to take isopropyl alcohol and we spray it inside of the keg collar where there's a gasket in here that prevents anything from going inside. So to ensure nothing can get inside, we like to spray some isopropyl alcohol and then cap it on off to create a somewhat sterile environment, at which point our kegs are now ready for long-term storage until we're ready to fill them with beer. Now, I'll take you over and I'll show you how we actually put beer inside of our kegs. All right, so what you see behind me here are fermentation vessels. This is where we put the wort into after we're done making our beer. This is where all the fermentation happens. This is where we cold crash the beer to get rid of any sort of leftover yeast or sediments in the beer. And this is also where the carbonation process happens. So all those things have been done. And so now we need to get the beer out of the tanks and into kegs. I'll show you how we set up everything, and I'll show you the process of getting the beer out of the vessels and into the kegs. All right, so what we got here is our CO2 bottle. It is full with liquid carbon dioxide. This will allow us to maintain a positive head pressure inside of the tank. So as the beer comes out, we'll have constant pressure on top of the beer, pushing it down. And so this also serves two purposes. Like I said, it helps force the beer out, but it also helps maintain the carbonation levels inside of the beer. If the pressure were to drop too low, then the beer will start to release its carbon dioxide that's in solution. And so to prevent that, we want to make sure we maintain a constant pressure on top. So what I like to use is we have these connectors right here. We'll take it over to the blow-off arm of our tank, hook it up, and then we'll hook up the carbon dioxide. We'll take our connector, make sure you always sanitize, spray here, spray the connector, put it on, open this valve to have access to the tank, and open up your valve on your CO2 regulator to your desired pressure. All right, I'll next show you how we hook up the beer outlet onto the tank. All right, now we're gonna hook up our keg coupler up into the fermentation vessel. It's a very simple device. It's a standard keg coupler that has the inner workings removed so that gas can come out normally the gas in section, and the beer can go in where normally the beer comes out. We have a 1.5-inch tri-clam fitting put onto the end of the hose so that we can easily attach it to our tank. All right, so what we've hooked up this connector to is called a racking arm. This lever right here allows you to move a tube that's inside. So you can move it up and all the way down. So right now it is all the way down so that there should be no sediments inside. What we'll do is we'll take it and we'll move it up to this side, which will have the tube facing upwards. At which point, if there's any sort of yeast or anything inside the tube, we can open this valve and open this valve right here, and we'll be able to purge any sort of sediment that we don't want going into our kegs. All right, now that we have our coupler attached to the fermentation vessel, we've purged it so there's no sediment in the line anymore. Next step is we need to hook it up to our clean and sanitized keg from earlier. We take the cap, we remove it. We ensure that all valves are closed on the coupler and the coupler handle is up. At which point we'll take the notches on the coupler and line them up with the notches on the keg, put them in, connect the keg, push down the lever here to activate the coupler. At this point, we want to start adding the beer slowly. So we'll take the beer in, slowly open it about a quarter of the way, allow beer to go in and equalize pressure inside of the keg, at which point we will slowly open the CO2 out. This will allow gas to escape and beer to enter at a controlled rate. Once the beer has reached the top and has filled the keg, foam and beer will start escaping out of the CO2 port, at which point I will close all the valves. I will disengage the coupler, remove the coupler, take water and clean off the keg collar, then take our isopropyl alcohol again, sanitize the coupler, the collar, and the cap, at which point it is now ready to go into our cold storage for future use and to be shipped off to our customers. Next, I'll take you over to our cold storage and show you what it's like in there. All right, so now that we filled our keg, we bring it over into our cold storage and we stack it up with all the other similar kegs that we've done. This is our newly made and packaged English ale. It'll soon be available, especially over at Kochan, right next to Maebashi Station. If you have the time, please stop on by. I'm there almost every Friday. Come by, ask to sit at the back of the bar, and we can have a chat about beer and tell me what you think. All right, well, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed. If you could, please leave a like and if possibly subscribe. Also, if you have any questions, please leave a comment down below. Let us know what you liked, what you didn't like, and anything you'd like to see in the future. That's it for now. You all have a good one. Take care.